We are constantly bombarded with trailers, posters, and concept art for franchise films, but on the flip side, there are quite a few that have successfully stayed under the radar. From indie comedies to biblical epics, let's take a look at some upcoming movie sequels you didn't know were in the works. But hold on! Before we go on with our video, please take some time to subscribe to Watch Culture. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so you can be notified every time we upload a new video. Now, let's get rolling. Paranormal Activity 7. Although the door seemed well and truly closed on the Paranormal Activity franchise, after 2015's painfully desperate sixth film, The Ghost Dimension, no genre knows the power of a brand name better than horror. And so last year, Paramount quietly confirmed that a seventh Paranormal Activity film was indeed in development. Given the tendencies for tired horror franchises to simply go the lazy reboot route, it's genuinely surprising that Paramount actually referred to the film as Paranormal Activity 7, also implying it to be a direct sequel to the previous 6. It is likely that it will ultimately be a soft reboot in line with the upcoming new Saw film, Spiral. But given the found footage genre has declined in popularity in recent years, it is still a surprise to see the series being resurrected quite soon.
Are you not entertained?
Gladiator II. We honestly thought this day would never come, but it looks like Ridley Scott, the director of Gladiator I, is heading back to ancient Rome. Nearly 20 years after the original Gladiator hit the theaters, Scott is finally making a sequel to the story of Maximus Decimus Meritus. Of course, old Maximus is busy walking through the wheat fields in heaven, so what is the sequel going to be about? Well, according to producer Walter F. Parks, the film is going to start about 25 to 30 years after the original ended. Part 2 will focus on Lucius, the son of Maximus's old flame, Lucilla. While Spencer Treat Clark played Lucius in the first film, we don't know if he is going to reprise his award-winning role for Gladiator's sequel. However, what we do know is that Peter Craig will be working on the screenplay. Jackass IV. Given that the surprisingly hilarious Jackass 3D was released an entire decade ago, most fans surely assume that the goofball franchise has had its day, especially with the death of Jackass star Ryan Dunn, the year after the film released. But to our luck, Paramount confirmed last in 2019 that a fourth Jackass film is in the works. And though there is no word on how many of the original Jackass stars will return, Johnny Knoxville has suggested that the crew will bolster their ranks with some younger talents. Whatever it is, we're just happy that one of our favorite comedies is coming back to the big screen. Alien Awakening. As the crew of the Nostromo learned the hard way all the way back in 1979, it's hard to kill aliens. In reflecting his landmark sci-fi horror film on its 40th anniversary, director Ridley Scott told Variety that a third prequel, the follow-up to 2012's Prometheus and 2017's Alien Covenant, is indeed on the way. Despite generally positive critical reviews, Covenant underperformed at the box office, throwing the future of the franchise into uncertainty. But following Disney's acquisition of Fox, both Scott and Alien's new studio home seem eager to return to the sinister stars yet again. As for what this third prequel might entertain us with, one thing is for sure: it won't follow the format of the original Alien. Speaking to The Hollywood Reporter, Scott talked about the need for the franchise to continue to evolve in order to succeed. This next Alien film, tentatively titled Alien Awakening, is still in the very early stages, and also, none of the cast of The Covenant has yet been asked to return. Still, Scott maintains that it is indeed happening, he will be directing it, and that the film is currently in the script phase. Legally Blonde 3. It has been almost 20 years since audiences followed effervescent sorority girl Elle Woods to Harvard Law School in Legally Blonde. She continued to ascend the professional ladder in 2003's Legally Blonde 2, Red, White, and Blonde, which saw Elle head to Washington, D.C. Now, Elle is back for a third adventure. In addition to starring as our favorite Elle Woods, Reese Witherspoon will also act as a producer this time through her Hello Sunshine banner. Originally, Legally Blonde scribes Kristen, Kiwi Smith, and Karen McCullough were attached to pen the script, but since then, The Office alum Mindy Kaling and Brooklyn Nine-Nine director Dan Gore have stepped in to completely rewrite the screenplay. Space Jam 2. It is no surprise that the Space Jam sequel has been in the news for many, many years. Well, you may be surprised to learn of the LeBron James starring follow-up to the iconic 1996 sports comedy, quietly wrapped principal photography late last summer. Though original director Terrence Nance quit the project several weeks into shooting, he was very quickly replaced by the veteran filmmaker Malcolm D. Lee, and the remainder of the shoot seemingly went off without a hitch, with Warner Brothers clearly hoping the combination of the nostalgia and James will make the $100 million tentpole summer box office success story. Labyrinth 2.
Your eyes can be so cruel.
Making a sequel to Henson's final feature film seems like a pretty intimidating task, but the Jim Henson Company feels up to it. News of the Labyrinth sequel first broke in 2017, with Don't Breathe filmmaker Fede Alvarez attached to direct. The project didn't stay rudderless for long, though. In May of 2020, Deadline reported that Doctor Strange director Scott Derrickson had stepped in to helm the highly anticipated sequel. While we don't yet have any details on the story that will bring us back into the world of Labyrinth, insiders said the sequel would indeed be a continuation of the story that began in the original film, but that the character of the Goblin King would not be making any appearance.
It's not fair.
You say that so often.
First point of attack. 2, throat, paralyzed vocal cords, stop screaming.
Sherlock Holmes 3. Although rumor has it that a third Sherlock Holmes film starring our personal favorite Robert Downey Jr. has always been a part of the Warner Bros. Plan, the actor has spent the past decade anchoring the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the genius billionaire playboy philanthropist Tony Stark. Saving the world every couple of years is a draining gig, and Downey's superhero commitments kept him from being able to take up the detective's trademark deerstalker and pipe for a third time. However, now that Robert has finally exited the MCU for good, he finally seems to have time to team up with Jude Law's Watson for one more case or one more sequel. So here is the video, guys. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more interesting content.